Hi everyone, Donna here. I am the owner at Bookkeeping Made Simple, and today I want to talk a little bit about, um, actually I want to talk about consistency because that has been really tough for me. That is, the key to success, and that is why our clients end up being very successful in their businesses, is because we do actually work very consistently, for our clients. They can just about set their watches by us. We work every week on their books so that they always know where they stand and how things are. And we do update fairly regularly. Consistency is the key to success. The catch is that consistency is one of the more difficult things to attain. It's really easy to start things and it's really hard to finish them. And that's why we have diets that fail. We have workout plans that don't succeed. That's why your New Year's resolutions are out the door by the first week of January, maybe the second week of January. Maybe you might make it to February and then you're kind of back to normal. It's important to have this consistency. And like I said, part of the reason I'm talking about this is because I am one of the worst offenders. If you follow my videos, you know I struggle with making sure there's a video up every day. That is my goal, is to have a video up every day. There have been times when I've recorded multiple videos in a day and then I forget to upload them. But there's a lot more times that I just space it, I forget. I really struggle with consistent performance because consistent performance gives you consistent, predictable results every single time. The challenge I have for myself is that I'm a people pleaser, and I let there's too many times I let my clients drive my calendar rather than me be in charge of my calendar. And because I have wonderful clients, I need to be in charge of my calendar. I need to be in charge of my day, and I need to be able to say, "Ooh, I'm booked at that time," because I have another obligation, which is to my audience. And there's parts of my life that I'm extremely consistent about. I do client work for my clients. I have my bookkeepers and my staff does client work for my clients consistently every week, and I follow up with my bookkeepers consistently every week. It's critical. Where I have problems is when it's not for somebody else. Okay, so I have problems promising myself that I will go do my swimming workout, or that I will go on my walk, or that I will go. I go swimming with my daughter in the morning, and she's an amazing swim coach, by the way. And you want to know how I know? She can coach her mother. And I go for a walk every day at lunchtime, and it's been very easy because these are for me. They're not for a client. They're not for my boyfriend. They're not for my kids. It's for me, and it's very easy to put myself on the back burner and then say, well, I don't need to do that right now. I have other things I need to do. We are in the middle of some interesting changes, and I keep saying this and then it doesn't seem to materialize. I'm a good week into this, so now I feel like I can say something. We are into some interesting changes here, and a lot of it has to do with learning these consistent processes. Now, part of the reason, say McDonald's is always the example people use because they have unparalleled success in this department. When you go to McDonald's, and it doesn't matter if you go to McDonald's in Tokyo or in Berlin or in Moscow or in Des Plaines, Illinois, you know what you're walking into. You know what the tile is going to look like. You know how you're going to be greeted, even if you don't speak the language. You know how you're going to be greeted. You know what they're going to ask you. You know basically what's on the menu. There may be a few regional changes. For example, McDonald's in Germany sold beer because that's just what Germans drink. McDonald's in Tokyo may have a few different offerings that is culturally, that, you know, specific to that culture in that country. But if you go into McDonald's and you say, I want a Big Mac, they know what you know what you're getting. You're getting 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions on the sesame seed bun. And it will be exactly the same sandwich consistently every single time. When you order McDonald's French fries, you already know what they're going to taste like because they taste exactly the same in every McDonald's across the world. In fact, the only difference I ever found, and I have eaten at McDonald's in Germany, was that the ketchup had a slightly different taste because in America we use high fructose corn syrup, and in Germany they use sugar in their ketchup. So I already know when I go to McDonald's, I know what the food's going to taste like. I know what it's going to look like. I know whether or not the bathrooms are clean. That's why my dad always says when you travel, go to McDonald's, the bathrooms are always clean. I know what the lobby's going to look like. I know what the uniforms are going to look like. Everything is consistent, and it's consistent across the board. Like I said, there's some regional differences. You know, if you go to McDonald's in France, they may have wine. You know, if you go to McDonald's in Germany, they may have beer, and it's not usual for America. If you go to McDonald's in Tokyo, they may have something that's specific to Japan, but they will have Coke, they will have French fries, just like French fries at every McDonald's anywhere in the world. They will have hamburgers, exactly like every other McDonald's everywhere in the world. And you don't have to wonder if it's going to taste the same way in Hoboken as it does in Miami, as it does in Berlin, as it does in Australia. Okay? It's going to be the same. The way to do that is to do the same thing over and over. Now, I know that for when you do the same thing over and over and you are not having any success at it, I was actually having this discussion with a friend of mine. She said, well, if I was not being successful, I would assume that it was karma and I should just stop doing what I was doing. And I said, no, it means you need to stop. You may need to regroup, but that doesn't mean you stop. If you're running a marathon and you're having trouble in the first mile, well, that may be a training issue, or it may be that you need to adjust something. But it doesn't mean that you stop. You finish the marathon, even if you are crawling over the finish line, because then you're a marathon winner. You're a marathon winner. You're really competing against yourself, and it's the same way in business. You may say, well, you know, my blog isn't working. Well, are you really writing in it every day? You may say, I'm not getting the results in my marketing that I would like. Well, are you doing consistent marketing? But do you need to tweak your message? Are you putting out a consistent message that people can relate to and that they're going to want to click on? What problem are you solving? You may say, well, I'm not bringing in enough revenue. Well, are you doing consistent marketing? Are you doing something consistently all the time? All the time. Several years ago, I went through a training, and it's called Creating Conscious Choices. The ladies that ran it were just absolutely amazing. And I was just delighted with some of the things that I learned out of it. And one of the things is consistency. And they tell a story about a man who sold eggs. So every Tuesday, he would gather up all the eggs that he had collected all week, and he would go around to these villages in a specific order, and he sold his eggs. And one day, one Tuesday, he went to this one village, and there was a war going on. And he knocked on the door of the woman of the house where he always sold his eggs. And she went, "What are you doing here? There's a war on. You shouldn't have come." And he said, "It's Tuesday. I sell eggs on Tuesday." And that's the level of consistency that we need to have in our businesses to help us to grow. And I'm just as bad as anybody else. So the nice thing about life, though, is that when you mess up, you can start over. So I am starting over. It is May 12th, and I'm starting over again. And I'm going to tell you, once again, I will be consistent with getting these messages out. I think they're important. I really do. And so one of the ways that I will be looking to provide consistency will be to basically pre-record and then get back into the habit of recording every day so that I can make sure that these messages are going out every day, because it really does need to be consistent. If you have had the same problem where you start things and you don't always finish them, you're welcome to follow along with me. I am not going to advise you to take a cold shower every day. I think that's ridiculous. But I am going to advise you to work out twice a day and to pick one habit to work on for 30 days. This is the one for me, because I think if I can get 30 days of consistent, predictable videos up every day, I think it's going to change the way I'm perceived. So there you go. I don't like being terribly scripted on these. In fact, I really don't like being scripted on these at all, because I want you, my audience, to get to know me as I really am. And it's harder to do if you have a script. It's still possible, I guess, because I'd be the one writing the script, but I really do think it's much easier for people to get to know me as a real person than me as, say, someone who reads a teleprompter. So that's my goal. Let's see if I can, well, I can stick to it. I'm putting it on my calendar for every day, and I am really excited to start to grow this. Now, here's where the challenge comes in for me personally, okay? Life happens. This is why I'm saying I probably will record several days worth on the weekends, because life happens. And in my family, life happens hard. I have, my boyfriend has some health problems. My youngest child is, this is part of the reason I haven't been consistent since April. My youngest son finished his Eagle Scout, is graduating high school, got a scholarship to the University of Utah, and will be moving out of my house at the end of the summer. My youngest daughter is in, you know, I've been working with her to learn time management and successful student skills. She had a rough first semester at college, but she has done amazingly well. She's going to be a straight A student. And so I've been working with her and swimming with her, and we're trying to get it to every day, and or at least 5 days a week. Swimming in the morning and walking at lunchtime now that the weather's nice. So she's my diet and exercise coach, and she's moving out this Saturday. And then I have my boyfriend has health issues. So from time to time I have to, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. I'm trying not to sneeze. From time to time, that becomes top priority. But I am still trying to make sure that everything is consistent, because we want consistent, predictable results. And in order to have consistent, predictable results, we have to have consistent, predictable processes. So that's all my rant for today. I'm going to keep it short, you guys. Thank you for being so patient with me. I have the best clients, I have the best audience, I have the best bookkeepers, I am a very lucky woman, and I have the best boyfriend in the world, just in case you're wondering. I will talk to you again tomorrow. How about that?